Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for this College of Social Sciences and Humanities Meet Your Major Political Science, Philosophy and Religion, and PPE Q&A session. My name is Michaela Modica, and I am the Senior Coordinator for Undergraduate Recruitment Programs and External Engagement for the College of Social Sciences and Humanities, or CSSH for short, as you may hear us refer to our college today. I am joined by my colleagues that you will see on screen now. They are faculty and students and from the political science, philosophy and religion, and PPE departments, as well as one of our CSSH co-op coordinators who works with students from these majors. In just a moment, I will turn it over to our panelists to introduce themselves before we open the floor for Q&A. So please feel free at any point throughout the session to use the Q&A box to submit any questions that you have, and we will answer as many of them as we can in the next 45 minutes. So without further ado, I will turn it over to Professor Ron Sandler from the Department of Philosophy and Religion.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for being here. As Michaela said, I'm Professor Ron Sandler. I am a professor of philosophy and the chair of the Philosophy and Religion Department at Northeastern. I also direct the Ethics Institute. I've been at Northeastern for 18 years. I do research and teach classes in environmental ethics, technology ethics, and ethical theory. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you have about the program, the department, our majors, our combined majors. But I think one thing that I would really want you to know about our department that you might not see in the information materials is that we have an amazing departmental culture and community. Our department has no graduate program. Only graduate students. So all of our programs, all of our clubs, all of our teaching assistants, all of our research projects, all of our student faculty groups are with undergraduate students. So in our department, the way we think about it is that it's sort of the best of both worlds. It's like a small liberal arts department inside a giant research university. So with that, I will turn it over to one of our students, Mac.
Hi, I'm Marika. I'm a fourth year computer science and philosophy combined major. I have been involved and a coordinator for some of the research and faculty student groups on campus, and I've also been involved in research in the Department of Philosophy and Religion, so I can answer any questions people might have about that. I've done 2 co-ops, one in computer science and one in the humanities. And I also can answer any questions people might have about changing major because I waited about 3 or 4 semesters before changing my major. So if anyone has questions about that, I would be happy to answer any of those. And I'm going to turn it over to Professor Delmas.
Thank you. And I second everything Ron Sandler said about the department. It's super friendly and congenial. It's got a great, vibrant community and culture. So my name is Candice Delmas. I'm an associate professor of philosophy and political science. I've been at Northeastern since 2015. I specialize in political philosophy, philosophy of law, and ethics. Much of my research focuses on citizens' responsibilities under conditions of injustice. I'm interested in civil and uncivil disobedience, especially the latter, including government whistleblowing, hacktivism, vandalism, and I'm now researching the ethics, politics, and aesthetics of hunger strikes. Every semester I teach contemporary political thought for the political science department, and I usually either teach social and political philosophy or philosophy of law for philosophy. This coming fall in 2021, I will be teaching a philosophy seminar on the ethics of resistance. Please contact me if you'd like to hear more about it. I also want to talk to you about our PPE program, Politics, Philosophy, and Economics major. It is not a triple major, it's a truly interdisciplinary major that integrates and combines all 3 disciplines. So first, the program provides students with a basic methodological theoretical frameworks of each discipline, and then you get to deepen your learning and critical thinking across these disciplines by taking upper level courses as electives and as part of the concentration. We have 6 concentrations right now in environmental and energy policy, law and justice, logic and game theory, among others. Eric Winter will tell you about the co-ops and the fantastic experiential learning components that some of our students have benefited from. I'll mention just a couple of exciting new developments. We have a new course, Philosophy of Race, which from now on will be offered starting next year, will be offered every other semester, and which will fulfill a requirement. And we are also adding a new concentration in race. These great developments are due in no small part thanks to the addition of Professor Patricia Williams to our faculty roster and to the law school's faculty roster. And I'm going to hand it off to Brittany.
Thank you. My name is Brittany Cloudy. I am a fourth year PPE major, and I second everything that Candice was saying. Sorry, Candice. And I really do think the PPE major is extremely interdisciplinary. Getting to pull from different facets of politics, economics, and philosophy has really strengthened my ability to do well in each class. And something about the PPE program that I enjoy is definitely the faculty. They're super supportive and helpful with anything that you want to do with your future goals and aspirations. I've also held research positions here in Northeastern, working with the departments in KMD, which is a College of Arts and Design, as well as in CSSH. I've done 2 co-ops so far, one in marketing and the other one in social science research, and my last one is in the humanities. And my favorite class, it was modern philosophy, but I'm actually taking social and political philosophy right now with Professor Delmas, and it's amazing. So any questions you have on classes and coursework, I'm more than happy to help to answer. And I'll pass it over to Professor Borman.
Hello and welcome. My name is Natalie Borman. I am a professor in political science, and I work and teach in the area of Holocaust and genocide studies. I am a teaching professor, which means that I am interested in understanding how we can teach and learn about difficult topics such as genocide. And I do lead a Holocaust dialogue of civilizations, so a study program that takes a group of students abroad to learn about the Holocaust at the places where it took place. If there are a few things to say about the political science department, I guess this is where I should say now that we are actually the nicer department, or we are very friendly and we're a good community, which we all are. But I would say a couple of things. One, we take experiential education very seriously in political science, which means, for example, we run a number of models, Model NATO, Model United Nations, where we prepare our students for work in diplomacy and international work in general. So to familiarize our students what it's like to succeed in larger international organizations. I would also stress that looking back at this year, starting from the election, continuing with the pandemic and other issues that we concern ourselves with today, our department is especially strong in political advocacy and political activism. So our students are very strongly represented across the campus in all things political. And then lastly, I do want to say that I always describe the political science department as a really good partner. We have about 20 combined majors. And to me, that signals that political science works really well along with other disciplines and other units, such as international affairs or philosophy, economics. So it's a really good partnership, and I would encourage everyone to take these partnerships very seriously. I'll pass it on to Kanita.
Thank you, Professor Borman. My name is Kanita. I am a senior at Northeastern. I major in political science with minors in computer science and law and public policy. I'll be graduating in about a month, so that's super exciting. My favorite part about being a poli-sci major is the research opportunities. I am currently on a research with one of the international law professors at Northeastern, and we're looking at the militarization of artificial intelligence. And I've been able to translate that to my capstone, which is with Professor Borman. And I'm writing a paper on the intersection between that, and that really helps me combine my political science major and my computer science minors. There is a lot of overlap in what you can do with, let's say, a combined major, or just using your minors. I have done 2 co-ops. One was at a intellectual property law firm as a paralegal, and another at an immigration and personal injury law firm. So you can guess that I do want to go to law school. So there's a lot of opportunities available at CSSH in order to explore that. And I think the co-op program is super important in helping you make that decision, especially when you don't have the co-op program, you're right out of school and you want to apply for law school and you're just not sure if you want to invest the rest of your life being a lawyer. So I really appreciated that. And we have a great faculty as well. Governor Dukakis used to be part of our faculty. We have the Speaker of the House of Massachusetts now. And we have so many accomplished professors that really know what they're talking about and provide you with so many resources, whether that be at Northeastern, abroad in different universities, or whatever it may be. But yeah, I enjoyed my time at Northeastern, and I'm really sad about leaving in a month. And yeah, so Eric is also used to be my co-op advisor, so I'll hand it over to him.
Thank you. Yeah, so as Kanita alluded to, I'm one of the 10 co-op advisors supporting the College of Social Sciences and Humanities. So each student is assigned one as they seek out a co-op opportunity. I'm happy to answer any questions revolving around co-op. I've been at the university for almost 9 years now, and one of my favorite things about working with CSSH majors in particular is how diverse their interests are when it comes to the work that they want to do for their co-op experiences and the career paths that they want to do after they graduate. And I really enjoy embracing the liberal arts motto that we're not teaching you what to think, we're teaching you how to think. And there's so many great pieces of knowledge and transferable skill sets that you're gaining from these wonderful professors and from your coursework that you're able to transfer into a workplace environment and see that knowledge and skill set grow, change, and really help you become a holistic human being that's really ready to tackle the world by the time that you graduate. And so it's hard to encapsulate all that our students do in terms of co-op, but for the most part, I break it down into 4 even buckets where students end up in. So, your coursework and your major that you choose to study does not, and I'll repeat, does not dictate the career that you'll have after you graduate and the career that you'll have for the rest of your life. So you might try a co-op working in a nonprofit, in a for-profit, in a law firm like Kanita, or working in local, state, or federal government. So those are the government, law, nonprofit, for-profit are really the 4 buckets that our students are pretty evenly distributed across. And something I say on the first day of class is that, all of you at your young age of, somewhere between 18 and 20, and knowing the trajectory of our levels of technology and healthcare, I'm assuming all of you will, and possibly, hopefully will, live to the age of 100. And if you think about that, only 20% of your life has passed, and you shouldn't be trying to figure out the rest of the 80%, having only had that 20% pass so far. So I always encourage students to think in little small chunks of time of, all of you as you approach attending Northeastern this fall is, what am I interested in now? And what can I see myself doing for my first co-op? Not even trying to make the leap forward to what career you're going to have after you graduate, and just kind of seeing each little experience as adding on to your skill set and helping you explore new things. And you'll slowly figure things out in little 2 to 3 year, potentially 4 year chunks of time. And if you take it a step at a time like that, I think that's also embracing the idea that many industries, job functions that will exist tomorrow do not exist today. And that kind of circles back to the benefit of a liberal arts education, that we're preparing you for a lifetime, no matter what the world, the economy, different industries or job functions are going to throw at you. You're prepared for anything. So yeah, I'll leave it there. I'm happy to answer any more logistical and practical questions about co-op.
Great, thank you so much. So we're going to begin the live Q&A portion of the session. So please continue submitting your questions through the Q&A feature of our Zoom webinar here. So this question, I'll kind of expand upon what Eric was just talking about. because we have a question from one of our attendees talking about that they are interested in the philosophy major, but aren't entirely sure what that might translate into in terms of jobs and careers after graduating. So could Ron, and I think we can expand it to the other departments that are here today, talk about kind of where students tend to end up and where they take these degrees after they graduate.
So where do our students end up? They end up everywhere. We have a lot of combined majors similar to political science. And in fact, about 80% of our majors are either combined majors or part of the PPE program, which is this interdisciplinary major that Candice was discussing. Philosophy makes a really good philosophy and major because it increases your ability to think critically, question assumptions, think creatively, identify problems, work around problems, connect ideas, synthesize. It's going to provide this kind of skill set that's going to help you succeed in whatever it is you want to do. We have students go into business, into computer science, into education, into nonprofit, into government, to law school. There is no, and people always say, well, what do you do with one of those degrees, right? There's no track because the possibilities are too open, right? There's too many possible things that people can do with these degrees. And I would just second, what others have said, that co-op is huge to figuring that out. Doing research with faculty members is enormously important to working that out. Going on dialogues, the experiential components that are on offer, which are in all of the disciplines, they really help sort out what those possible pathways, which of those possible pathways are going to be most attractive to you as a student going forward.
Great, thank you. Does anyone else want to weigh in on where graduates of the program end up, or any of our student panelists? I know, Kanita, you talked about planning to pursue law school, but I'm not sure. Brittany or Marika, do you have thoughts of where you're planning to take your degrees when you graduate?
Yeah, I can speak a little bit about this. For the philosophy major by itself, philosophy is a great step up major if you're considering doing any kind of graduate program. So it's always a good place to start if you're considering doing a PhD or going to law school or doing something in ethics. It's always a great step up major. It's one of the best majors to prepare you for a graduate degree. I know a lot of students that do the philosophy major and end up going to medical school because it's really helpful and useful on the MCAT and the LSAT. So as a PPE major, I'm actually also interested in doing going to grad school, but I know that the grad school market is very difficult. However, having to take both econ and political science does prepare me to do things outside of that, and also within the professional space, just in case my plans for PhD doesn't work out. I know that I have those two disciplines to kind of help guide the rest of my career trajectory if you are worried about having just a philosophy major to graduate with.
Yeah, I have a really similar answer to that. I also actually am planning on applying to PhD programs this fall. So I am planning on taking my philosophy major, the philosophy PhD route. But I can also second that if that doesn't work out, I feel extremely prepared to enter the job market. I don't feel like being a philosophy major has hindered me in finding co-ops whatsoever. I feel like, if anything, a lot of the CS interviews I've done have been really interested in that, and they've said I have a really unique background and they love talking to me more about that. And I can always explain to them a way in which my major has taught me more about critical thinking and being prepared to solve really unique problems. And it's just, I would say, really been an asset.
Great, thank you. So another question we have is, how accessible are the professors in CSSH to students, and what are the sizes, what's a typical class size, and what are the sizes of the larger classes?
I can take that. I was going to repeat what Ron said in part for the philosophy department. The fact that we do not have a graduate program makes us all very accessible and approachable, and you know, there are no TA teaching the classes, so it's always us. I have never taught a class where there were more than maybe 40 students.
That's it, 40 is max.
40 is max, okay. Seminars, upper level courses are smaller. I don't know the cap either. I should run 15? No, there's no cap on upper level.
Nope, they're never bigger than 19, but they are usually
19.
smaller than that. Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry. And I help students with doing the Peak Awards, Research Awards. I have never not had a research assistant. Since I've been at Northeastern, there's always been a student helping me with, you know, indexing the book or doing data collection. As far as philosophers do data collection, and conducting their own research at the same time. I also love using teaching assistants, undergraduate teaching assistants for my classes. What else could I say? I really, that's what I love about teaching at Northeastern is this, the ease and all the opportunities for involving undergraduates in my research, helping them develop their research, and also doing all kinds of informal, fun things, which I've been in scarce supply during COVID, admittedly.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Professor Delmas. Also, like, they're super accessible, as she was saying. Doing research is very easy to do as well. Like, if you send out an email to a professor, they'll probably get back to you within like max like a week, and that's like even long for them. Like, they answer questions really quickly, and they're always willing to help you with your future aspirations. So definitely getting involved with like working as a TA or RA is a great experience to like for people that want to go into grad school, and they offer so much support and resources for you to do such things.
Great,
So
thank you.
Can I jump in on that? So,
yeah, of course.
And I might even put Mac back on the spot for this, but so in the philosophy and religion department, and the PPE program is an independent program, but it's housed in the philosophy and religion department, which is why Candice and I are sharing perspectives there. So we have, so we teach, all your courses are taught by faculty in the philosophy department. In addition to that, there's a huge range of co-curricular activities that are going on constantly that bring students into the department. We have 3 clubs. We have an ethics bowl team. We have anywhere between 4 and 6 student faculty research and study groups on topics like AI and data ethics, at issues at the intersection of philosophy and science. We have one on social choice and democracy. That are weekly meetings where interested faculty and students who are interested in the same topics get together. We have social events. It's just a kind of constant opportunity for interaction with each other, and that's why the pandemic hasn't been great. We've done our best to keep all of these things going as much as possible, but we are excited about next year. I will say about getting back to that face-to-face community. I don't know, Mac, do you want to talk about aid or anything like that?
Yeah, sure. I just want to say there has only been one semester the entire time I've been at Northeastern where I haven't been involved in either like research with a professor, being a TA, or being involved in one of these groups. There are like endless opportunities that professors are really happy to work with you and mentor you and help you in any research projects that you yourself are interested in. And Professor Sandler brought up a couple of the groups, like there's AIDs and aid ethics group, a mix of 50-50 faculty and students, and then there's Rossetti, which like he said is at the intersection of philosophy and science, and it tends to just be 1 faculty member and 5 students. So really whatever it is you're interested in finding a professor to work with, there will be someone willing to work with you, and it's not like there is a lack of these opportunities. You really just have to ask, and there will almost always be someone who either has an opportunity or knows who to talk to find one.
Great, thank you. So we have a question for Eric, but anyone else can feel free to weigh in as well. We have a couple of questions coming in about kind of the locations of where you can do co-op. So one of these questions is, can global co-ops include working in international governments, et cetera? And then another similar question is, are there enough opportunities for political science related co-ops, even though Northeastern is located in Boston and not somewhere like DC?
So that's a really good question. So on average, each year at university-wide, we have about 10,000 students on co-op throughout the whole calendar year. Within CSSH, that number is about 400 or 500 students, and roughly 70% are in Boston at a given time on co-op. I'm not going to give exact numbers here, but like another 20% are outside of Boston, but in the US, with the most popular destinations being DC and New York City. And then another 10% are global. Most of our global opportunities are with NGOs, nonprofits, social enterprises. And so really we support students through the active partnerships that Northeastern is trying to develop for co-ops. We're always trying to expand the opportunities outside of Boston. And in particular, we rely heavily on our alumni connections and our faculty connections for that. But the one thing I'll say too is if there's ever a location you want to be in, and you don't see a co-op that we've manifested that you're interested in, we support students through one-on-one advising to help them develop their own opportunity. We call it self-developing or self-creating your own co-op that really helps you meet your career goals, especially if it's a location-based goal that you're trying to get abroad or work in DC or work in New York. And there's tons of logistical things that go into that I won't go too in depth in, but I'll just say we have support to help you for funding if it's an unpaid opportunity, which 85% of our opportunities are paid positions, and then relocation assistance to help you find housing. With some of our global employers, they do either provide housing or help you find housing. The university also leases housing in New York, DC, Chicago, and Silicon Valley. And then if there's any other city you want to live in, we have an off-campus housing support office that helps you find housing or connect other students who are also going to be on co-op or studying abroad in a given area in order to collaborate in finding housing together.
Great, thank you. We also had a couple of questions come in about research, and I know we've heard a bit from Professor Delmas and Professor Sandler about opportunities to get involved with research in PPE in the Philosophy and Religion department. So Natalie, if you want to say more about how undergrads get involved with research in the political science department, and then also Brittany, Kanita, if you want to talk about research that you've been involved in your departments as well.
Yeah, I mean, Kanita is actually the best person to speak about this. And you introduced your research at the beginning as well. And if I can use you as an example, Kanita, there are different ways to think about doing research in political science. So one is actually through the curriculum itself. So we don't really treat this separately as in, so they're the classes you take, and then in some kind of parallel life, you also do a bit of research. So think about your work in the department as always engaging with research as you are in classes. So you can do independent studies throughout your academic career where you choose any research topic you want to work on with the supervision of a faculty mentor. You then do your independent research when you arrive at the capstone, as Kanita was talking about, where again, you're given the opportunity to work independently on the work that you have done over the years as an undergraduate student, which is amazing. And then alongside and with that, as you connect with faculty, you can get engaged as a research assistant or work actually with faculty in existing research projects, of which there are many. So try to think of it as sort of a network of research opportunities that take place in the class, your own classes, but also in collaboration with faculty in the department and beyond. And if I can sort of connect with Eric, the point on co-ops, the wonderful thing about integrating co-ops and other experiential experiences is that as you then return from these experiences, you will find ways to integrate that experience and write about it and do more research on these topics that you have worked on. And I think, Kanita, if I can sort of pass this on to you, you can maybe share your own experience a little bit.
Yeah, so initially I drew inspiration for my research from the dialogue that I went on with Professor Borman. And although I did change my capstone topic, I was initially going to talk about or explore the lack of transparency in the Chinese media and the failures of international law, which lead to the escalation of the Uyghur genocide. So broadly on the topic of human rights, but since I was already doing this research with another professor, I decided to, take the human rights aspect and apply that when it comes to how artificial intelligence is being used to create autonomous weapon systems and how that impacts or makes, wars worse because there is a lack of accountability. There's no one to blame anymore. And talking about how important value systems are. So that's one part of the research that I was doing during the pandemic with my honors. One of my honors professors, I was able to do research on campus about the impact of COVID-19 and how it affected relationships, whether that be with your family, whether that be with your partners, that be with your friends, and how you maintain connections with them. Honestly, if you just reach out to any of your professors your freshman year or even before coming to campus and just ask them if they know about what's going on in human rights or what's going on in digital privacy or whatever it is you're interested in or philosophy, they will either tell you what they're doing or they'll tell you about another professor that they know and what they're doing, and you could always connect with them and start something. There's also an opportunity to fill up like research forms where you get grants from the university. I think that's in like your second, third, and fourth year, and you can conduct your own research, end up presenting it at a panel. And you could use that for your capstone or thesis or whatever it may be at the end of the day. But there are a lot of resources, and honestly, the professors will always tell you what's going on, and they will plug their own research as well. So you're not going to be left in the dark at any time.
Yeah, and just to echo that sentiment too, I know a lot of people that come to Northeastern are afraid that they may not have enough experience to take on a co-op, and usually getting research experience your freshman year is a great way to help build your resume up so that you can be prepared for your co-ops that you really want to do, that you may feel like you need more experience for. And also, like Eric said, the CSH people are super interdisciplinary. I know that I have personal interests in visual culture and art. So my current research focuses on combining my research and interest in understanding Black womanhood through a Black feminist perspective. And I'm able to do research that I can create an exhibition around understanding this phenomenon through a visual lens. So it's really a great way to collaborate with other people within the department and outside of the department. So you can do research not only within CSSH, but also in KMD or in the College of Computer Science or other things that you may find interest in, even if you are housed as a CSSH major.
Great, thank you. And Marika, you can feel free to weigh in as well. I just know you talked about some of your research beforehand.
Yeah, I can't speak exactly specifically to political science, but one thing that I do want to add is that I think this was touched on a little bit, but you are also more than welcome to do just your own research outside of working directly with a professor. And you can almost always get funding from someone in the department to go to conferences for whatever sort of grants you need, like travel funds, things like that. So you don't have to feel like if there's something that you're really interested in working on, you have to find a professor who wants to work on it with you. There's almost always going to be support at Northeastern to do whatever you specifically want to do.
Great, thank you. We also have a couple of questions about how students kind of find their niche within these departments academically, because students come in with so many different broad interests. So, one person who was asked this question said they specifically, have an interest in human rights. So how does the department help guide you to find your niche. So really anyone can speak to this. And another kind of related question is, does the core liberal arts curriculum, is it so much that you don't necessarily have as much room to find your academic niche there? So really anyone, I think, can speak to this, professors or our student panelists.
I think what helps is getting involved in activities and clubs. Like I said, I have a lot of interest in visual culture and things like that. And I did my first co-op, even though it was marketing, it was very digital focused or like creatively directed. I also worked with the Avenue magazine, which is like an on-campus magazine on campus, like that works like in the intersections of like fashion and like whatever you're interested in doing. And also like, yeah, like it's just honestly just trying to be around people that come from different majors, but share similar interests with you. Like, for example, I wanted to mention this earlier. I'm also the president of MAP, which is the Minorities in Philosophy club here on campus. And it's a great way for me to learn more about like Black feminist thought or like Black philosophy of race, which are things that I'm interested in doing. So it really is about getting involved on campus as much as you can and figuring out the kinds of like topics outside of your major that you find interesting that you can end up applying to your major and to your research and things like that.
Could I, sorry, just jumping in here on this. So in political science, we give some suggestions for expertise and pathways you can explore. We have 8 concentrations. So, you have the combined majors where you can begin playing with different disciplines. You have minors, but then the concentrations are laid out for you to suggest that you can build on a particular expertise that could be on the law or in public policy or international security and security in general. So, and within those concentrations, we again sort of suggest a set of courses and interests that you can pursue, just to give suggestions and pathways. But just to sort of add to what Brittany says, the kind of niche and expertise isn't really brought to you. You can create that yourself, which is the exciting part about Northeastern. So there are a lot of students who create their own combined majors. We just did one with math and political science, which was student driven. These are very exciting new combined majors, or political science and Africana studies. And so students are actually setting their own agenda, and there is a lot of flexibility in the college to doing that.
Can I jump in and speak to this a little bit as well? I mean, there is a sense in which it's kind of like, whoa, there are a lot of possibilities here. And how do you figure out, how do you navigate it all, right? In a certain way. I guess one thing to know is that the university is set up to help you try things out, see what works, and move on to either more depth there or somewhere else. It's set up that through the co-op coordinators who are unbelievable, your advisors who are unbelievable. Each department also has an undergraduate program director who's available to help you. The courses that you'll take early on will be more broader topic courses. And then what you'll see is that the next level of courses have more levels of specificity. So you can start to, through your courses, explore what you want to do. When it comes to dialogues, there'll be a fair where you can go and talk to people and figure out which one seems right to you. And so it's really set up to both present huge opportunity, but also to give you the supports that you need to figure out how to navigate all those opportunities and find what works for you. And if what you're looking for isn't exactly there already, to create it. Our answer to most things is yes, let's try that. We have a half major template, which you can combine with any other major in the university. If we don't have a combined major at all, you can put that together. As Mac was saying, if you have an idea for giving a paper at a conference somewhere and you need funding for it, we will. Hey, Brittany, if you want if there's a club that we need, we will do that, right? So it really is set up to both give you tremendous opportunity, help you navigate it, and then give you the support that you need to be really successful and create your own opportunities within that context.
Great, thank you. So with our last few minutes, I think we have time for one more question. So for our student panelists, we have a couple of questions that I'll try to combine into one. So we've talked a lot about research and classes and things like that, but we have some people who are interested in just what you all do for fun and kind of the lighter side of things. And also, do you still feel connected to campus despite all of these off-campus opportunities such as co-op and study abroad opportunities? So if you can each speak to that fairly quickly so that we have time to wrap up.
Yeah, I can start. So first of all, despite that I'm involved in the department and research, I've also had time to do non-philosophy and academic related activities. I'm the captain of the Women's Ultimate Frisbee team on campus, which has been a great opportunity to meet people in a non-academic context. And I've always felt like I have plenty of time to be like a student athlete, in a sense, like a mini student athlete, because it's not a varsity sport or anything like that. And also do research and be really involved academically. So I would say there's definitely time to do both.
I'm not a part of too many organizations on campus, but I do a lot of external volunteering opportunities. And I do, on the weekends, I volunteer at my local religious center and I teach grade 1 children like math, English, science. That's like what I enjoy doing and helping out. We also do like events on holidays, such as like gardening, taking them to the aquarium or the ICA. And I do get enough time to do that. I also work on the weekends. So those are like, you know, your calm down, let your hair down, take a breath of fresh air. But during COVID, it's been a little bit harder, but I do expect things to return back to normal or close to normal during fall. So I hope you guys have a better time.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think about what I do for fun now, but it's just super tied to like to what I do on campus, because I truly do love like what I do at Northeastern, whether it's doing research or like being part of a club or like organizing events. I had something earlier to say that I cannot remember, but oh yeah. So if you are looking for things outside of Northeastern to do that you want to get experience in, like we are, because it's Boston, there's so many like institutions around us. There's Harvard, BU, MIT, and I actually had the opportunity to intern at the MFA, which is literally across the street from Northeastern. So there's definitely opportunities for you to get involved in things outside the institution that can help to kind of relate your interests back to the campus. I did like research in African art, and it really helped to like understanding different kinds of frameworks people use to express themselves, and helped to really inform my scholarship as well. So there's so many different ways that you can definitely do things outside of campus that can really help to like strengthen your like future, but also just for fun that you may find interesting.
Great, well, thank you so much. I want to thank all of our panelists for joining us this afternoon and for all of the great questions that you all submitted. We have some upcoming events that we want to get on your radar. So we have a session coming up in a few weeks for any international student who wants to know what it's like to be an international student in CSSH. And then our final event will be on April 27th. We'll have a Q&A for parents and families, so kind of a last chance. Any questions you haven't gotten answered, we'll have representatives from our dean's office as well as a student representative there. We're also continuing this Meet Your Major series. So if you are interested in a combined major with one of these other departments, take note of these events, and they're also all listed on the virtual welcome platform. So you can register for those events as well. And if we didn't get to your question today, or if you have any follow-up questions, please feel free to contact me. I will answer your question or put you in touch with someone who can. And I also encourage you to follow us on our social media accounts that you'll see down in the corner of this screen. Students of CSSH, we feature lots of student takeovers and student features, highlights, events that are going on. So it'll give you a feel for what it's like to be a student in CSSH. And then we have our college social media handles as well that have general updates, faculty profiles, what our faculty and students are up to. So thank you again for joining us, and we hope to see you all on campus in the future, and have a great rest of your evening.